little different. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see what everyone has to say. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes. All right, good. Nice group coming on tonight.
Tom, how do we say your last name properly? Swedzinski?
Swedinsky.
Swedinsky.
Yes, sir.
Swedinsky. That's Italian. It's Italian, right?
Yeah, right.
What a big piece of pie. It's you right in there. Swedensky.
And my family was a few miles north of Italy when they were kind of coming around.
That's about as Italian as Lopez.
Yeah, there you go. That's all right. I got a free cell phone.
Yeah, poor Cuba. They're struggling right now. They don't have any power. It's ugly down there.
I've been there. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. It doesn't work. Whatever the heck they're doing, it doesn't work. It's a shame to see people having to live under those circumstances.
Yep. All right. Well, based on Bobby's bedtime, I think we should get started here. All right. Everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
Okay. Bobby, why don't you get us going?
It's Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which means it's time for Quick Fix Golf Open Clubhouse, where all the members can invite their friends to see what Quick Fix Golf is all about and get some great information, get some great insider information, which you're going to have tonight, because we're going to be talking about Phil Mickelson and Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah, DeChambeau.
DeChambeau. Hiti policy bonke. Your hosts tonight are Darren DeMaile, PGA professional. He's got all these attributes that you couldn't even fit them all on the slide. Top 100 this, top 100 that. He's even famous at the 7-Eleven right around the corner from his house.
Yep.
And myself, Bobby Lopez, PGA professional. Why they let me in is beyond me. I'm surprised they haven't thrown me out, but that's, I guess they don't want to do that.
You keep paying your dues. You keep paying your dues.
Keep paying the dues. And, of course, with us tonight also is our CTO, Yada Techports, Srini Aladi. Srini's the one who's built all the app and continuing with the app till we get it exactly the way we'd like to have it to help your golf game.
Absolutely. And this is the key going forward. We want everybody to play better golf, and this is a huge part of what we're trying to do going forward. And there's nobody else out there doing what we're doing because, we really care.
Thank you for putting my childhood photo.
There's no Met cap on, but that's all right. The Mets are up.
What did we do wrong without the beard?
That's right. It'll be next week.
It looks like a high school picture.
Right.
And tonight's show is brought to you by Tea Time Golf Pass. You can go to quickfixgolf.com and click right on the front page where the logo is and get your Quick Fix Golf -10, which means you get 10% off, is the promo code.
All your favorite golf courses up and down the East Coast, so don't make sure you get it. It just starts up November 1st, so you can get your fresh copy ASAP.
Yep.
But they're not really who's giving us a word from our sponsor tonight.
Of course, Quick Fix Golf is home of the swing analysis. All you got to do is download our app, upload your swing, and you're just minutes away from having a best golf game of your life.
It's free, not a penny out of your pocket. So get your cell phones out, download that app, and we'll send you a quick analysis.
A word from our sponsor. Now, what kind of surprise he's got going here?
Ay, ay, ay. El palo grande, the big stick. Further, a lighter head, lighter shaft, 48 inches long. We can put just the right grip size for you. We've got a lot of different lofts, and I'll tell you what, you're going to hit it so far over the fence that your friends are going to say it's illegal.
Ay, ay, ay. And that's a word from our sponsor tonight, the Paul Grande.
You're the one with the light head. I'm telling you right now.
That's always a good one to
Unbelievable.
watch. Got to have a little humor in there. But all right, let's get the show started here.
How Phil fights inflammation on the golf course.
And it's not just on the golf course, but inflammation is the biggest killer for most people, and people don't realize it. And I'm no expert, but like bread is a good example of how most people are allergic to bread and they don't even realize it. So you've got all these different things about inflammation going on in your body, and Phil's one of the people that has it the most. He's got that rheumatoid arthritis, but here's what he has to say about inflammation.
Yeah, I'm just trying to track that line and go through.
Are you looking at the
Once again, this is kind of the segments of Bryson's YouTube channel that you don't get a chance.
recovery gummies? Tell me about them. These were made for a purpose of getting rid of inflammation in your body because that helps recovery. And all it is compressed tart cherry. There's no added sugar. This entire bag of 30 has only 20 grams. And the reason is to help us recover faster. And tart cherry is the strongest anti-inflammatory there is. It's literally like candy to me. I love it. I'm glad you like it. So 42, 41.
So who would have thought?
You probably want to come from behind them.
Who would have thought cherries?
What is it?
It's a cherry gummy.
A
Where
cherry gummy.
They compress tart cherries. And
Does it have pot in it?
Does it have what?
Pot in it?
No. What's that supposed to mean? No, this is
That might be what's making them relax a little better.
Well, I've seen you on that before. It's not a good sign. You're gonna see, but yeah, it's the best anti-inflammatory out there. Once again, we're no doctors claiming anything, but Phil Mickelson is showing us a little something inside the ropes.
Rich Floyd
what is it?
Rich Floyd just said that it's also good for gout.
Yes, Rich would definitely know that. Yes, Rich has got some gout going on. And
Serenas, thank you for sharing.
the tart cherries. He sells them on his website. They're a little expensive, but we can get them for a lot cheaper price on Amazon. But I think that's an important thing, that a little inside the ropes from Phil Mickelson there on inflammation.
Why playing the red tees is great for mindset. Get used to making birdies.
Yep. And at your age, probably that's where you're about playing now, right?
Well, I told you, I said Chico Miartuz is a guy I used to take lessons from when I was a teenager. And he used to make me play from the red tees and said, get used to making birdies.
Yep.
And it used to upset me because I felt like I was embarrassed to be hitting off the red tees because I thought it was a big shot because I hit off the back tees.
Yep.
But he was right, because then you get used to scoring.
Yep. So let's see what Bryson has to say about that.
Get started though. This is where we kind of make a bit of a move. We can get one on here and roll one in. When I was 15, I was struggling to score. We were shooting like 72, 74. I just went out one day. I was like, okay, I'm going to play the Reds till I shoot in the 50s. That was my goal. It took me like 6 months to do it. I finally learned how to score on the greens, and then I shot 59 for the first time. It was a shorter golf course, but it was still 59.
Yeah.
I did it 2 other times, and then I was like, okay, I know how to score now.
Yeah.
So you got to teach yourself how to do that.
I think I'm getting 250.
It's an easier golf course the closer you are. I always say it, the better your score is. So you just get comfortable being uncomfortable. And we see it all the time. People start cutting up their score, the 16th hole, and hey, I'm only a couple over, blah, blah. I'm going to shoot my best score ever. And what happens? You go double, triple when you finish. But it's a great way for you to start to change your mindset when you're playing great, because why wouldn't you want to continue playing great? Why would you go into kind of protect or being cautious? Just keep going with it. So playing the forward set of tees is always a great way for you to become comfortable being uncomfortable.
What about that Operation 36 thing?
It's the same concept. Absolutely. Great point. But it's the same concept where what you're doing is the Operation 36 is you're moving all the holes into little par threes. And it's so much easier. It's a lot less frustrating, and it focuses a lot on the short game. So that Operation 36 I don't know if anybody's ever, kind of seen any or gone through any of it, but it is that's kind of the concept there. It's just like playing the red tees. And Nicklaus has always said it, play a set forward. Play a set. It's a lot more fun, and your score is going to be a lot lower. So give it a shot next time you're out there. You don't always have to play the white tees or the blue tees. Just play one up, play one back. Make it fun.
Yeah, if you want to hurt your game, play the back tees when you can't play the back tees.
Yeah, there you go.
And you'll get so depressed after that, you'll never want to play again. You see, the silver dollar story. What's this all about?
1925.
Okay, sick. Thanks, Bill. That really was pretty. Had such a good flight to it.
This would be a great bounce back after that par on 3. Up the hill, man. This is pretty straight up the hill. You got your mark. I want you to use your mark because you're.
Phil's always got the best of things, whatever it is.
Laser cut Morgan head silver dollar. You ever seen those?
Yeah, he's always got the best.
Nice, not for everybody, Bryson. It feels to me like the last 12 feet, like it is eking.
Whether it's a belt, shoes, whatever. Phil's got the best. Sunglasses. He's always trying to show off. But this is a little sentimental type of thing. What do you have in your golf bag? What are you marking your stuff with?
It tries to work well, but it's barely.
Nicholas would always use 3 pennies. But we get a little sneak peek into Phil Mickelson's golf bag and what he's using here when he gets up on the greens. Bobby used to always use the rabbit foot. He had a rabbit foot in his bag that he would mark his ball with.
I ate the rest of the rabbit.
Yeah.
That's another birdie. Easy birdie. Here you go. Got your. You need laser cut. What's like your most prized piece of memorabilia that you have?
So I have a Morgan head silver dollar. It came from my grandfather.
Okay.
It's from 1900, and my grandfather was grew up not wealthy, very very poor, and he got pulled out of school, grade school, by his dad to work and help the family. And he always felt poor, but he had this silver dollar he would carry in his pocket at all times. In fact, he was one of the initial caddies at Pebble Beach.
Okay.
He would go
Who would have thought?
days of not eating. He wouldn't spend it because every time he reached in his pocket, felt that silver dollar, he didn't feel poor.
Wow.
So I have that one. It's
Wow.
It's here in my bag. I don't use it on practice rounds. I use it in tournament days, and I think of him every time I pull it out. Like every time I have that in my hand, I think of him. He was a very special person to me. And
What did you used to have in your bag, Bob? Did you use anything special to mark your ball with?
No, it's funny. What I had in my bag was my grandfather's brush. His
Okay.
hairbrush. I keep his hairbrush in my golf bag. And that might sound kind of weird. But my grandfather and I were close, and he didn't have much hair, so it's amazing that he had a hairbrush at all. But I keep that in my golf bag.
Wow. You're going to make me cry.
So I was playing in the tournament before I tee off, I go rub the brush a little bit. Tell Pops to give me a little luck.
That's awesome. Just a little bit of something like that can always just kind of, the little things can take care of the big things in there. Thank you for hearing that with us, Mommy. I wish I had a little more sentimental things that were in my golf bag, but I'm pretty just like Nicholas. I just put a couple pennies in there. Nothing crazy. Nothing yeah, but pretty cool that we get a little sneak peek into Phil Mickelson and Bobby's golf bag there.
Snacks between holes and calories necessary per match.
And what were you eating between holes there, Bobby?
Well, I'll tell you what. I put Tiger with the banana because Jose Maria Cañizares, if you know him, see me play,
Right.
we play a lot together. He always had bananas in his bag, and he got me eating the bananas. He said bananas is good for you when you're out on the golf course. Probably one of those protein bars are even better, but we didn't have those in 1972.
Good shot, dude.
thank you. Let's see your nutritional.
Food. So on the golf course, I usually have 2 or 3 beef sticks.
Okay.
I've got some of these protein bars. I got protein bars.
Okay.
Got hydration electrolytes. I've got IQ bars. So hopefully it makes me a little smarter. Which never helps. Coconut strips. These things are unbelievable, actually. And then some almonds. Some almonds right there. And
Got a whole grocery store.
Yeah.
so I'm gonna
Coconut strips. I've never seen those before, but you know, you're out there for 4.5 hours. What are most people doing on the golf course as far as nutrition? They eating hamburgers, milkshakes, drinking beers, whatever the heck it is. You know, I'm sure, Bobby, when you were back in the day, you had this whole routine about when you ate things and when you didn't, and because you're out there for a long time, you got to pace yourself.
Yeah, I think the 7th hole was always seemed to me like a good time to whip out a banana.
Yep.
Eat it, because you're going to get a little tired getting it at 10 and 11.
So, you know, people underestimate the use of a scorecard. So what I always say is I circle every 3 holes. And when you circle like the 3rd hole, 6th hole, 9, it reminds you to have like a half a cup of water or a cup of water, something like that. Just use the scorecard to remind you of certain things like drinking water, having some sort of protein. You know, peanut butter and bananas is kind of the go-to out there at the tour right now. But you got to maintain some sort of sense of energy, and most people, they don't care. They just have their bacon, egg, and cheese. They have a cheeseburger at the turn, a beer, and that affects performance, no doubt. But
yeah, and drink plenty of water.
For sure.
You gotta drink plenty of water. Don't be concerned. There's plenty of trees out there.
Yep.
All right. Phil's secret to hitting it straighter. Really?
Really? Phil hitting it straighter? Everybody knows Phil's not known for hitting it straight, but here's a great little clip based on what we talked about last week and lag and how lag affects your accuracy.
No, 22. Now this one might get a little wilder because I've got to really pound. I'm going to pound this one for me.
Hitting bombs.
Oh, that's pretty
Man.
good.
Yeah, it's making a little left. Hang in there.
That's all right.
That's okay. It's an uphill chip, but that's why I say like that shot right there where it leaks. I can't stand that, right? So by shortening it up, I don't get as narrow with the shaft of my shoulder.
You can time that up better.
I don't need a hand action through impact to square it.
Bobby, what does he mean by that?
Oh man, that's a good one. I'm so glad. Was that? I think that's what hurt. That's what hurt Sergio Garcia, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
If people that want to hold the angle, they want to hold the angle, and then, like he says, if you do have that much lag in your shaft, you've got to be very active with your hands at the bottom to square the club up, and that's very high risk. A lot can go wrong, and that's what happened to Sergio. Everybody was all drooling over his lag, and everybody wanted to try and copy it, and they were doing themselves more harm than good.
Yeah.
What he said right there, he's actually throwing the golf club away right from the top of his backswing. He says, so that way he doesn't have to work his hands so hard. Like your old boss, Nicklaus.
Yep. Well said. Well said. I teed you up, gave you that little layup.
Thanks for throwing me the softballs. I mean, and, you know.
It's not a Diaz fastball. It's not.
Oh, let me tell you something. I went to see the Mets Friday. That's Darren's team. And I've been an Orioles fan all my life since I was a little kid. I've just switched to the Mets. After going to that Mets game, I'm a Mets fan.
Absolutely.
I've never seen a place so electric in my life. It was so much fun.
Yep, we're a different breed, that's for sure.
It was a long drive, but it was worth it. When Bryson never looks at his ball, oh, I see this one all the time. Everybody's staring at their golf ball.
Let's see what he has to say. This is very interesting. I didn't know this until I saw this.
That I noticed, like at the U.S. Open, you were as solid as anybody I've ever seen in the game on these shots. Is there anything that you do differently or precisely or here on these to make you one of the best short putters in the game?
Dude, I try to obviously line the dimples up. Everybody knows about that. Secondly, I'm very precise with my aim. And then thirdly, I try to shoot it straight back and straight through. So there's not very much.
You don't really think much more else in, huh?
No. Like this should be just a little bit of a right center putt, if anything. Take it straight back, straight through. No, right in the cup, just like that.
Yeah, solid.
Pretty simple.
And you try to have like no rotation in face, right? You try to have it dead square the whole time.
Square.
And that's why you started on line so consistently, you think?
And I actually don't watch the ball. I look at my putter head as I move back and forth.
Okay.
So I never get the ball.
See, that's interesting right there.
I sit up over the ball. I make sure the lines are squared up.
Yeah.
And then I watch the putter head go through in a straight back, straight through line. Just imagining a chalk line down.
Yeah.
So very interesting. I didn't know that. I'm so glad I watched this, but is there any other person out there that does the same thing? Well, it was Nicklaus. He was able to look at the ball with his left eye and then able to watch his putter go back and through. And then he could switch. He could switch to his right eye looking at the ball and then his left eye looking at the hole.
What about
Which
the
I
one?
thought
What about the one in the center of his head?
That's right. That's the third eye. Well,
he never wore a hat, so he had that eye that he could watch the ball with.
but very interesting. And players nowadays, they look at the hole once in a while on the short ones there. But Bryson, that was really an eye opener for me. I'd never heard that before. You learn something new every day. But he uses kind of the thought of straight back and straight through, like a chalk line, just swinging the putter back and through on kind of that chalk line, which gives you your best chance, low risk, for keeping the ball on line.
What I like to advise people to do lots of times with their swing, not the putter, is to watch the club face going back. Watch the club going back. Don't stare at the ball. See where your path is, because if your path isn't right, what difference does it make?
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of the backswing.
You look at Nicklaus, the way he tilts his head, he's watching that club go back.
Yep, you got it right. People think he's left eye dominant. Well, that's not the big reason. The big reason is his right eye watches the club go back.
And what's this one all about?
This is about putting.
Nice. Get up there. Go. Go. All right.
Wow, that's got some break to it.
Yeah, I'm very conscious of that. That's a hard shot for me, that chip, because it's breaking so much slice, and I want to make sure I miss it on the left side, right? Because I want to have an aggressive. I mean, like we talked about, all 5-6 footers are not the same. If you have a downhill curler, you're not going to be able to have the same aggressiveness. So
one of the first golf lessons I ever watched, and that's how I became very good at teaching. I watched the best instructors I could find, was with Michael Breed. And it doesn't matter how good of a putter you are. It just depends on the putt that you're hitting. And what Phil's talking about here is that give yourself the easiest putt possible, if you can, for the next shot. If you're above the hole and the putt is breaking a lot and it's very fast, it's a lot tougher to make than something underneath the hole. Now, most of us are just trying to put the ball on the green. I get it. But you have to think from the hole backwards to give yourself that easiest putt, because every putt is not measured even. There's different percentages. So was that something that you tried to do, Bobby, when you were playing, or were you just trying to make it every time?
No, I always tried to leave an uphill putt.
Right.
Even though there was that book that you had that shows statistics that proves
Right.
the fallacy, that really the downhill putts are more likable. But growing up in Miami and in the Bermuda greens, there's so much grain. I'd rather be, against the grain, straight uphill. I can knock it in the back of the cup.
What Bobby's saying there is that the downhill putts typically always get to the hole. The uphill putts sometimes don't. So, there's a little give and take there, but as I think as well, you got to have that uphill putt a lot easier.
Once again, to remind you about Tee Time Golf Pass, you want to if you're playing golf, especially anywhere on the East Coast, you don't have one of these, you're just spending money for nothing. I mean, it's terrific, because in some cases you get as much as 50% off. I mean, to pay half, you can pay twice.
Mm-hmm.
So you can play more golf for the same amount of money you normally spend. You could either play more golf or save money by playing the same amount of golf at a lot lower price. So you want to check out Tee Time Golf Pass at teetimegolfpass.com. Get it from our site and you get 10% off.
Yep.
The code is QuickFixGolf-10.
What do they say about money for nothing?
Money for nothing and the chicks for free.
And then you got more money to spend on golf lessons, right? You got more
Exactly.
money to spend on golf lessons.
Exactly. You can buy an extra beer in the clubhouse when you get in.
Yep.
Can't make the scene if you don't have the green.
I think this is just a really great insight to how Phil Mickelson thinks. I think it's awesome.
was trying to give us a little putt, but I just fractionally pulled it a little bit more than I wanted to. I didn't control.
That's how
it.
champions think.
No, I go right back to practice. You go right back to your preparation. Like, you have a shot here, and I go right back to my yard. Like, okay, this is that, 115. I'm going to add, take that as a reference. I'm going to add a little bit here and a little draw. You go right back to your practice session. And in 2005, I hit a shot on 18 on the last hole. I chipped up there about 3 feet or so and had that putt to win.
Yeah.
And I had gone and seen Jackie Burke 6 years earlier, 1999, and he showed me a 3-foot drill of hitting 100 3-footers in a row. And so I would do that drill repeatedly. And when I came to that putt on 18, I went right into that drill mode, and I pretended. So I would just do this thing around the hole, and I would go 87, 88. And so in my head, I just made 87 straight putts, 3-footers, and the putt to win was number 88 in my head. So we all have our different ways. Oh, sorry.
No, it's just you're lucky.
But
We're doing well with it.
We revert right back to our practice sessions. You go back.
As the average golfer, I don't think anybody thinks that way, but that's how champions think. They go back to routine, they go back to what they're practicing. And what that does is it relieves the tension, the nerves, because you're working on something positive on how you're trying to go forward. And at the moment, you're not even thinking about everything that's going on, the pressure, winning the U.S. Open, blah, blah, blah. You're just thinking about something you've done 1,000 times, and you got to trick your brain into thinking that way. Is there anything that specifically, Bobby, comes to mind for you that this jumps out?
Yes, I was always a 4-foot guy. I always felt like everything I did on the golf.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, probably am. Was trying to get the ball within 4 feet of the hole. I've always trying to get the ball 4 feet from the hole, and then from 4 feet in, I wanted to be deadly. So I practiced those, and I put the balls in a circle around the hole, and I putt them, and then I would stagger them to different lengths so that because you didn't always get the same length putt, so it would look like a star. I've got that drill. It's on YouTube.
Yep.
And I just felt like from 4 feet and in, you can't make it up. You can make up a bad tee shot and hit a good second shot or something like that, but you can't make up. Once you miss that 4-footer, it's gone. It's done. There's nothing you can do. So I always thought that was a crucial shot. And what I like, one thing we learned tonight, which I really like, is what he talked about following the putter head. So these 4-footers, well, you just watch that putter face. If you can control your putter face, you can control where the ball goes. You control where the ball goes, you're going to make it. It's 4-footers. I make a very short stroke, and I always say take a short stroke and kick in the butt.
Kick in the pants.
Right in the pants. Just give it a little pop, and control that club face. The less you move it, the less chance you're going to change the face. It's all about the club face. Club face has got to be pointed at the hole.
All right, I think we got. That's about it.
How about to open up the microphones to see anybody has some questions?
All right.
Anybody got a question? How about you, Charlie?
Charlie Jones.
Is that Charlie?
Yep.
Is he in a coma?
Oh, he's got his microphone mute.
You got to unmute your mic.
There you go.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Is it Charlie or me?
Well, who-
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom.
Drills for controlling speed of the putts. That's been my issue, getting the speed. And these greens are different. I'm used to having just moved here. I'm having trouble with the speed of the greens. Some drills for speed controls.
That's a great question. So when it comes to speed control, your average putt is going to be about 20 feet. So if you add up all the putts that you hit on 18 holes and divide it into, the numbers, it's going to be about 20 feet. So when you're practicing distance control, you have to practice certain distances, which 20 feet is the number. Okay. So that's the first place you got to start. And then from there, you have to understand some of the metrics of hitting a putt and how much backswing you need and how much a forward swing you need. And most people are over accelerating their putter when they hit the ball. So they hit the ball and the putter's still accelerating after the ball's gone. And that's the last thing that you want to do. So you have to get that ratio right of the backswing to follow through. So your follow through is a little less than the backswing, and then you can start to get that distance control right. But you want to practice 20 footers, get those metrics right of the backswing versus the follow through, and then it'll start to make a little more sense for you.
Plus the tempo of the stroke.
Well, that's it. The metric, the tempo. That's the back and the forward. Absolutely, Bobby.
The tempo and the rhythm of the stroke should control. That's another reason why you should use the same ball all the time, because different balls will come off the putter face at a different speed. Sure. So I know if I putt the Callaway Super Soft, I can't putt with that ball because the ball comes off the face like a rocket ship. It just takes off, and I don't want the ball to get away from me. So even though it might be a good ball on the golf course for me, it's not a good golf ball on the greens, and that's where it matters the most. So you got to get a ball that you're used to, and you're used to the feel off the face. You're used to how fast the ball comes off the face. And same thing when you're picking a putter. Pick a putter that, how fast does the ball come off the face?
All right, Charlie, you got a question for us?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Nice to see you there, Charlie.
Just listening to that.
All right,
Rich Floyd has raised his hand. Rich Floyd has raised his hand. Hold on. Rich.
All right. A quick question, since you're talking about the
wait a minute.
putters.
Are you staying with Srini?
He's with Srini.
Hey, I lived in Hawaii for 5 years, so I figured I'd put it up.
Is that diamond head behind you?
Well, yeah, it kind of looks like it. But actually, it looks like I'm on Bellows Beach. But anyways, going back to putters, and Bryson DeChambeau was using that arm lock putter, but it actually looked like a blade, and he said he'd go straight back, straight through, but it's more of a I would think that would be more of a toe hang putter. And with a toe hang putter versus a face balance putter, are you still wanting to go straight back, straight through, or you want to do that arc?
It's an excellent question.
Yeah, great question, Rich. And we had, maybe how many years? We've been doing this for so long, Bobby. It's unbelievable. We had, when Bryson first switched to those putters, I forget the guy's name now. We had Sick Golf on. We did an interview with them right as he started using their putters. And the people from Sick Golf, SIK, told us all about the different putters and how that they can be used. But yes, Bryson is more of the straight back and straight through, and it's not a toe hang. It's a complete face balance. And what face balance means is that just the putter face, if you hold it in your hands, it faces the sky. A toe hang would be if you're holding it in your hands, just kind of like I'm doing here, it would hang towards the ground. I don't know if that's a good explanation or not, but the different putters have an effect on how the putter moves on the way back and through. And he's a sick putter guy. And there's also a couple other things that go on with the sick putter where they have this variable loft on the face. So if you hit it on different spots on the face, you still get the same amount of roll as you would if you hit the sweet spot. But that's a good question there, Rich. And he's always trying to figure out what the right answer is there. And you have to just determine what you want to do. The lowest risk possible is what Bryson said, straight back and straight through without any rotation of the face, at least in my world. But you have to have a putter that gives you that best chance. And then in addition to the arm lock, it just keeps your hands from being really, really quiet. Keeps them from being active.
Well, go ahead.
What I do, Rich, is I use a face balance putter because I think 4-footing in is more important to me. Then I realized I would practice 4-footers and 40-footers, 4-footers and 40-footers, nothing in between.
Gotcha.
If practicing 12, 15-foot putt was a waste of time. So yeah, I'm either practicing ball speed or I'm practicing club face control, ball speed or club face control. And on the long putts, I know I'm going to swing with a little bit of an arc. I don't care what you do. It's going to be very difficult to go straight back and forth.
No doubt.
So I don't care that I don't have an arc putter for that. Because
Okay.
I don't care about the 40-footer. My chances of making a 40-footer are probably 3%, 6%. So if that. So I'm worried about the 4-footer. So I'm
All
just
right.
trying to glide the ball within 4 feet of the hole, and then that's when the matador gets out the sword and the red cape, and the bull gets it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So in addition to my 6 sets of clubs, I've got to
Yeah.
pare down my 20 putters and figure out which one I want to use. All
All
right.
right. Got a question from Paul?
Yeah. How do you manage frustration while you're playing golf? I know we all make mistakes, but how do you prohibit a mistake from affecting your next shot?
About like this.
Good thing he's muted.
That's how you handle frustration on the golf course.
So I'll take this one. And people trying to pretend that frustration doesn't happen. Once again, we've been doing this for so long. We've had so many amazing people on our shows, specifically like Brett McCabe, Paul Shrimp. Remember Paul Shrimp, Bobby?
Yep.
A couple of weeks ago, we had Wayne Goldsmith that talk about how you manage your emotions, because we keep score for how many swings we make, but we don't keep scores for our emotional scorecard. And you have to start doing that. And you can't pretend that something bad didn't happen. You got to embrace it. You got to say, okay, well, this happened, blah, blah, blah. You get it over with. If you want to kick your golf club or whatever it is, but then you have to hit the reset button and move on. You cannot play in the rearview mirror. And that's where most people play. They think, okay, well, I've hit this and done that, and then all of a sudden my whole round is gone. You have to take each shot as it comes, and that'll keep you in the right mindset going forward. But it's a cliche. It's easier said than done, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, sometimes I think I'm pretty good at it because, you know, I don't have to make a living playing golf, but which is nice. It takes all the pressure off. But sometimes I play with other people that get really wrapped up in, you know, they get really frustrated and angry and everything else, and it's kind of tough to see. Sometimes I try and tell them to relax a little bit, but, you know, I get wrapped up in it from time to time myself, and it's just sometimes hard to let bad things that you do, you know, errors that you make go.
I'll give you two.
Lucky you can walk to the golf cart. You're so uncoordinated. What the hell are you thinking here?
I'll give you two quick, really good examples. When I was in high school, I played some pretty good golf, and a lot of the kids, or the high school kids that were around me, weren't even close to the caliber I was, and it frustrated me quite a bit. So I went to a sports psychologist in high school, and he gave me this kind of thought in my brain where I had this dial on my golf bag. I made this dial, and I would turn the dial up and down in my mind according to where I was on the golf course with frustration, and people, you know, some of the kids taking 12s and 13s, and I'm up there in 2. So that kind of psychology helped me quite a bit when I was in high school, and I carried it on. One of the modern day examples I'd give you would be Ernie Els, and he takes his glove and he Velcros it on and off, and the sound of the Velcro would trick his brain into what he's trying to think about as far as frustration wise. So you have some strategies in there, but you're absolutely. But at the end of the day, you're trying to have fun. If you're frustrated, and there's so many other things that you can. Time is your most valuable commodity. The last thing you want to do is go out there and give yourself all this anxiety and anger. There's no point to it. But that's my thought.
Dennis Duckin has raised his hand.
So back to the putting with Bryson. I have a sick putter, and I love it to death. But remember now that his lie on his putter is over 80. And so it's easier for him to go straight back and straight through. The design of the putter and the lie of the putter helps him putt just wonderfully.
What's the limit, Darren? You know the limit. What's the limit?
80.
80?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He probably has it at 80.
Yeah.
but his irons are at 72 degrees.
Yeah.
So what does Dennis mean about lie and this and that? Well, the more vertical you can get a golf club to the ground, if you're 90 degrees, it's easy to move it in a straight line. The more flat you get, the more it's going to want to move on more of an arc. But if I had it my way, everybody's putter would be at a huge amount of uprightness. You get as upright as you can, so you can make it that way. But most putters are designed at. Actually, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. It's a good thing. You stumped me there. I don't know what the average putter line is.
I bet they're at 65 degrees.
That's a good thing for me to look up. Maybe we'll do that another show.
It was a pitching wedge that was 64. So, any other questions? If not, we'll call it a night. This was a good show.
We'll do one more question. How about Nate?
Putting, I guess I'll handle the last two things. Over the years, there was a lot of info around loft of the putter and also those faces that are like, they're non-skid faces. They kind of have weird things, but to try, just so it doesn't skid, so it gets rolling faster, versus like kind of hitting up on it. And kind of want your, what's your opinion on all those, the million putters that tried all those things over the years, I guess?
Yeah, there's, for some reason, Bobby, back in the day, the agronomics of the golf course, the ball would sit in a little depression, right? I mean, the greens weren't caught that close and they weren't as firm. They'd sit in a little depression in the grass. So manufacturers would say, okay, well, if it's in a depression, you got to get it out of that depression to get it to roll. Nowadays, I don't think that's the case. So my belief is that when you hit a ball, you've got to hit it or putt a ball, you have to hit it above the equator. So if you have loft, you're going to be hitting it below the equator, which is not good because the ball's going to have airtime. So you have to actually de-loft whatever your putter you have, and the magic number is about -3 degrees. So if you de-loft the putter, and this is getting a little technical, if you de-loft it to -3 degrees, which means your hands have to be ahead, and if you can get the putter to rise when it hits the ball, then you have your optimal impact to get the ball to roll. I'll make it easy. Many, many years ago, I was giving a ladies' clinic on putting, and I was filling up my car with gas before the clinic early in the morning, and I was watching one of the gentlemen in the shop, and he was changing tires on the car. So he was hitting the top of the tire to move it around to the other side of the car. And I'm thinking to myself, pumping the gas. I'm like, oh, well, this makes a lot of sense. Well, why would you want to push the middle of the tire? And God knows you wouldn't want to push the bottom of the tire. That's going to create a lot of friction, and it's going to be very difficult. So I took my phone out and I took a picture of the guy, and I showed it at the clinic, and it made a lot of sense to people. That's where you have to hit a ball. It's above the equator. And if you have loft, and if you're hitting down on it, bad ideas. If you have -3 degrees, which I think is the right number, and you hit up on it 3 degrees, we call rise. That's the perfect optimal place for a ball to have what I call true roll, where it hugs the turf.
Well, our putters used to have 7 degrees loft. Today they're like 3.
Right.
Yeah, what's interesting is I grew up playing in New England, so everybody complained that, hey, my ball, look at all this great grass around here, and my ball's in this little divot. I'm like, well, that's where it's gonna stop, right? In the worst case. So we always played it, as it lies, and you got better that way up in New England because you never had a great lie. And then you come down here for a while, and you're like, everything's a good lie, So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I wonder. The key to that is that I have my putter, an older putter from an older ping. And up north, I kind of I pull back straight and go forward with it. But I found that here, if I kind of cock my hands forward a little bit and then bring it back and go, it works better here that way. I think you explained why. It's smoother greens.
Yep.
If it's an old putter, you might have to have it checked to see make sure it's not 7 degrees, because those old ping putters used to be 7 degrees.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to get the ball airborne, because you had to get it out of a hole, in a sense.
Yeah, I'll have to check that. Maybe that's why it's working for me, but I had to change to make it work well, But I love the weight of it and love the feel.
Well, now that Darren told you why it's working the way it is, now you're going to screw it all up, aren't you? It's going
I know. So
what did he say? What did he say? All right.
well, we appreciate everyone coming on tonight. We're gonna try and get a nice list going forward in the next 4, 5, 6 weeks. Srini's in some sort of he's got all his pumpkins in the background. 4 or 5 next weeks of some sort of schedule. We're gonna have a bunch of great guests, as we always have in the past. We'll try to give you a little heads up on it. Thanks everyone for coming in. And invite a guest next week. We want you to bring some friends. We'll send a replay out on this. There's been so many people looking for the replays on these shows. Not sure why, but we'll get that out to you and all your friends. So keep an eye out for it. And thanks again for tuning in.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Chet. Good night, Dave.
Thank you.
Good night, Ned. Good night, Ned.
Good night.
Good night, Chet. Good night, David.
Good night, John Boy.